In this video, I'll be working through the question you see on the screen here from the 2025 Leaving Cert Higher Level Maths Paper 2. I'm going to try and show you how to do this question and not just the solution. So definitely pause and rewatch certain parts of the video if you need to. If you're looking for a different question from this paper or a different paper entirely, you should be able to find a playlist in the description below or have a look around on my channel. Okay, let's get into the maths. In question 1, they give us a line and a point that's on it, and we need to find out P, that's the missing information in this point. Now, when we're given a line, we need at this stage know that putting the x and y values of the point into this line will complete the equation. We'll get 0 equals 0 or whatever. The equation will work out correct. And that's all we need to do here. Everywhere you see an x, we're going to put a p. Everywhere you see a y, we're going to put a 5 and we're going to solve it. So we get 3 times p minus 2 times 5 plus 28 equals 0. Fix this up, we get 3p. 28 take away 10 is 18 plus 18 equals 0. We get p is equal minus 18 divided by 3, or p is equal to minus 6. And that's the answer to part A. In part B, they give us two equations of a line and they want us to work out the acute angle between those two lines. So if we have any two lines, we have an acute angle, the smaller one, and the obtuse angle, the larger one. Now there's multiple ways to do this question. I think I thought of about 4 ways to do it. I'm going to show you 2 different ones and I'll quickly talk about the other ones. The first way, actually before I even answer the question, I'm going to try and draw it a little better than this. And to do that, and it'll help in some of the ways we're doing, to do that I'm going to rewrite. I like equations written like this much more than the ones written like this. So I'm going to rearrange this one so it looks more like this. I'm going to get minus 5y on its own, and that'll equal minus 2x minus 10. I'll change the signs of everything and divide by 5. So I'll get y is equal to 2 over 5x, and that would become plus 2. Okay, so here's the two lines we have now, and they're written in the y equals format. What I like about this is it's really easy to draw. So much information's here. Let me draw an xy axis here. And this number here is the y-intercept. I can quickly go, that's around 11. That's 2, so 2 would be somewhere down here. The number in front of the x is the slope. This is minus 1 over 3. So it's going down lightly. So it's going down something like that. And this one here is a slope 2 over 5. That's a positive. And it's going up. It's also less than 1. Remember, 1 is 45 degrees. Anything less is less than that. So this would be something like this. This a rough drawing. I'll come back to this a few times as we go. And we're looking for the acute angle. Looks to be one of these two here. These angles in here. Now, of course, you don't have to do this, but once you get good at doing this, it's just such a short, simple thing to do. Helps you see the question. But anyway, let's answer the question for real now. The main way I would suggest you answer this, and it's probably, yeah, I would probably say most times have a look at your maths tables. Is there a formula? Because formulas are very easy to follow. So if we have a look in our maths formula, we will find a formula that'll tell you the angle between two lines. I'll just write that up here. It'll tell us that tan of theta is equal to plus or minus m1 minus m2 all over 1 plus m1 m2. Now what's m1 and m2? That's the slope of each of these lines. Yeah, let's use the drawing we have. We'll say m1 is this one down here, so the slope of this guy m1 and the slope of this one m2. So let's try this. Let's use this formula and see what answers we get. We would get tangent of theta is equal, oh, don't worry too much about the plus or minus. That's just telling us we're going to get 2 different answers. And in fact, when we're dealing with tans, we'll actually just get a plus and minus of the same answer. But I'll talk more about that when we get there. So plus or minus, m1 was minus 1 over 3. Minus m2 was 2 over 5, all divided by 1 plus minus 1 over 3 and 2 over 5. You can go ahead and let your calculator do all that for you if you want. If we want to do it by hand, I would change all the bottom rows into 15. This can go to 15, that can go to a 15, this is a 15, and this can go to 15. So we'd get, multiply both of these by 5, we get minus 5 over 15, we get minus 10, oh sorry, minus 6, minus 6 over 15. On bottom row we'd get 15 over 15, and minus 3 over 15. All the 15s cancel, and we'd get minus 11 over 13. Oh, but that's a plus or minus anyway. So plus or minus 11 over 13 would be the answer for tangent of theta. Then we just put that into a calculator. We'd get theta is equal, and like I said, you get two different answers out. You would get it's equal to 40.24, oh, nearest degree, so 40 degrees, or you would get minus 40. At least my calculator tells me minus 40. Your calculator might tell you something different, because minus 40 is a bit of a silly answer here. Let me just say the acute angle here is 40. Minus 40, remember how tangents work. This is not really part of this. It goes off to infinity at 90 degrees and then it repeats. So my calculator can only give me one answer. It gives me this one here. Your calculator might give you this one, 180 minus 40. My calculator just tells me minus 40. So the other answer, minus 40, is the same as 140 in angles. So that's this angle in here, 140. So they asked for the acute one. Be careful though, they might ask for the obtuse one some other day. And that's the answer. That's the answer to that question. I will rub out some of this and I'll show you another way to do it. And then I'll talk about another 1 or 2 ways to do it. If you are finding my videos useful and would like to help the channel out, on top of liking and subscribing, probably the best thing you could do is to tell other people doing the exam about my channel. Maybe you could share this video in a class WhatsApp group. Then if you feel I've really deserved it and you would like to buy me a coffee, you could become a member on YouTube or on Patreon. You should find links to that in the description below. Okay, maybe you couldn't find the formula I rubbed out there. So how would you do this? I do expect math students at your level to know that the slope and the angle of a line are related. This angle in here, and indeed this angle, or well, this angle here, or in my calculator's case it gives me this angle here. These angles are related to the slope. So let me say that again. This M1 here, tan of, let's call it theta 1, is equal to M1, which was minus 1 over 3. That will give us this angle down here. We'll need to be careful, just like we were there with pluses and minuses. If we put this in a calculator, we get theta 1 is the inverse tangent of that is 18.4, and again for the other angle, the second theta, the second angle here for M2 is equal to 2 over 5. Again, putting that into a calculator, we would get 21.8. So that's down here. This angle here is 18.4. This angle in here is 21.8. It's a triangle. You should be able to put that. 180 minus this gets you 140, at least to the nearest degree. Once you get 140, 180 minus 140 gets you 40. That's another way to solve it without knowing, without being able to find the formula. I do expect students to know the slope and the angle are related like this. Okay, that's another way to do it. Another way again would be to find, use trigonometry and a bit of coordinate geometry. Find this point here, the intersection, point of intersection. A lot of students might have done that if they were confused. You have two simultaneous equations here. So I expect you to be able to find this point. I also expect students to find this point. Or well, honestly, you could have found this one either, or this one, but this is the easier one. This one actually we know is 0, 11. This point in here was 0, 2. So we know these 3 points. Let me draw that again up here. We know these 3 points. That means we can get the length here. It's actually 9. We can work out the length here. I don't know what it is. Use the length formula. Yeah, let me just make up a number just for the fun of it. 10 and 11. We can use these lengths to find any angle we want using the cosine formula. And this is the angle here we're looking for, this 40 degrees. So that'd be another way to do it. Another way you could turn this into vectors. I think that's taken off the Leaving Cert. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that's not in Leaving Cert anymore. So you could turn that into vectors and use the dot product, so I don't expect students to do that. I think you could probably use matrices, which again is taken off the Leaving Cert. That was on the Leaving Cert back when I did it. But I'm not sure. I can't remember how to do it that way. Anyway, lots of different ways. I'm sure maybe you can find some other ways yourself to do this. Part C, the maths we're going to do is quite straightforward. The hard bit in Part C, and I think it was a hard question, is understanding what they were asking. They threw a lot of words at you, which tends to confuse students. Too much English. We all would love just show me the maths. I've studied the maths. I can do it. All this English is what gives people trouble. They tell us a story about a line cutting the x and y axis, and it's a bit confusing how they say it. They give us points A0 and 0B. That doesn't really mean anything. You should know this every time you think of a line cutting the x and y axis. In fact, a line always cuts the x and y axis unless it's parallel to one of them. And you could always write this. The only real information here is that a and b are integers. We're not going to get 2.4. We're just going to get a solid number. And the next bit of information, they can tell us the slope here. Oh, sorry, one more bit of information. They tell us that this line makes a triangle with the area of 12. Now, I would recommend you try and draw this. I always try and draw every question. Just put an x, y axis down and try and draw roughly what they're telling you. Even if your drawing's the wrong way, the wrong shape, the maths tends to work out fine. Maths is symmetrical. If I draw, like in this case, we know the slope, so we know the line should be going downwards. It should go down like this. It wouldn't actually matter if I drew it up. I don't think it would, at least. 9 times out of 10 it won't matter. Your picture will look wrong, but your maths will work out fine. Maths doesn't really care about up or down, left or right, once you're consistently wrong or consistently right. Anyway, this is what the drawing should look like. It's a minus slope, so it's going down. It hits the x and y axis. Who cares what the number, who cares what shape it is? It's going to look something like that. It's going to hit somewhere up here, somewhere down here. Or there's another option, and that's why we get 2 different answers. It could be down in this world. This a here, this x value, this a, we'll put in a here. It could be plus a, or it could be minus a, because they never told us. Just told us it's a. This b here could be a plus b or a minus b. So that's where your 2 lines come in. Don't worry if you didn't draw this. All I really wanted, and what would help you, they ask you to draw a diagram. They say it might be useful. Really what would be useful is just having a line. We'll work off this one, in fact. Just having any old line to work off. And that's, even if they don't tell you, you should be drawing that. Okay, how do we actually solve this question? They really give you 2 bits of information. They tell you an area is 12 and they tell you the slope. With 2 bits of information, we're missing 2 bits of information. We can usually solve things. Give us 2 bits of information, we can find 2 bits of information. Area, find a formula for the area. There's a couple of options. You could find, so this point here is, let's rub out this b, 0b, and this point is a0, and this point is 0, 0. There's a formula, the area when using 3 different points. You could do that. It'd be a little silly here because it's a nice triangle. It's a right angle triangle. The height of this triangle is just b. The base of this triangle is just a. So the area of this triangle is a half times the base times the height, and we know it's equal 12. So we have a formula for that area. You could have also, like I said, used 3 points of a triangle where one of them is 0, 0. That'd work. The next bit of information is the slope. We know the slope is equal to this. You can use the slope formula. Let's see, what's it? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Using on these 2 points, that would be, let's say it's b minus 0 over 0 minus a, which is equal b over a, or minus b over a. But we know it's equal to minus 2 over 3. So b over a is equal 2 over 3. Let me write that here. B over a is equal 2 over 3. 2 equations, 2 unknowns. We have a simultaneous equation. We can solve that. I'll just say, instead of using this slope formula, you could have just used the triangle. The height divided by the base. That's what a slope is. Once we're careful to point out that's going down, I just b over a, sorry, this one here, b over a, once you made sure to put the minus in. Or you could have taken the minus out of this. Either way we get two equations. It's not our standard simple simultaneous equation. So how do we solve that? We substitute one into the other, the substitution method. Pick whichever one you want. Let's change the bottom row here to be b is equal 2 times a over 3. Put this information into the one we didn't change, the first one. Let me write the first one again. 1 over 2 times a. Instead of b, I'm going to put 2a over 3, put a bracket there, all equals 12. We just clean this up. Let's see, well, the 2's cancel, first of all. 3 multiplies across, a by a squared is equal 36. And see, the maths is going to give us 2 answers. A is equal plus or minus 6. Again, if I hadn't drawn the picture like this, if I had drew it like this and had minus b here, up here, I would have just found the same 2 answers. It wouldn't have mattered. So a is plus or minus 6. What's b? Let's find out what b is. B is equal 2 times 6 or minus 6. So we get, let's see, that goes in 2 times. We get 4. Or if we did it the other way, we'd get minus 4. Yeah, let's leave plus or minus in there. So the answers are a is 6 and b is 4. Or a is minus 6 and b is minus 4. Now, sorry, in my notes I left my answer as that, which is wrong. They ask you to find the equation of each of these lines. So let's do that. Let's y is equal, I'll write it this way. Y is equal, we know the slope, minus 2 over 3x, plus the y-intercept. What's the y-intercept? It's either b or minus b. It's either 4 or minus 4. So plus 4 is one answer. Y is equal minus 2 over 3x. Minus 4 is the other answer. If you're not following what I did there, this formula quickly, go ahead and use the equation for the equation of the line. Is that right? The formula for the equation of a line. Y1 minus y minus y1 is equal m times x minus x1. It'll take a little longer to do, but you'll get these 2 answers anyway. Okay, hopefully that answers everything in question 1. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know in the comments. Do me a favour and put in the timestamp of the point of the video you're talking about. Helps me answer your question. Thanks for watching and have a great day.